I'd like to give a quick talk on a topic that I'm calling in my mind, to bargain or not to bargain, that is the question. And I think that one thing many people face when they walk into a situation in which a transaction is about to happen, whether it's in a store, on a street, or wherever it is that you're doing your shopping for a particular item, is the question of, should I bargain here or should I not? Should I make a counteroffer? Should I turn this into a bargaining dance, or should I just pay whatever price I'm being asked for, whatever price is on the price tag, or whatever price is posted? Is this a bargaining situation? Yes or no? And we very often have these conversations in our mind, and very often, by the way, we end up with the answer that no, we don't bargain here, and we just pay the price that we're being asked. And I'd like to suggest that very often we reach this conclusion, and very often we reach this conclusion without even consciously having asked ourselves the question at all. In other words, we just naturally accept that when we walk into a transactional situation, we're asked for a certain amount of money, we have one decision, and that is yes or no. And we don't have the decision-making power to say yes, but, and that yes, but is yes, but I'd like to pay 20% less. And I'd like to reflect on some of the reasons that I think some of you will find familiar as to either why you don't even think about that question, or as to why, when we do think about that question, we reach the conclusion that yeah, this isn't a situation for bargaining. And there are all sorts of reasons. First of all, because many of us see that kind of bargaining activity as contentious activity, as conflict-type activity. And many of us are conflict-averse and just prefer not to get into that. So we pay our way out of that by buying things at whatever the price is marked. And we live at peace with ourselves doing that. Another reason is because it's a stressful situation. We don't know how it will affect the other. We're concerned that the other might be insulted for some reason by us trying to bargain. We're worried that it might be culturally unsuitable. We're worried that maybe we won't do a very good job, and that our friends will tell us that we should have gotten a better deal. So we prefer not to make this into a bargaining situation in the first place. We have many, many, many reasons not to bargain. So when you walk into a restaurant, very rarely do you tell the waiter, yeah, I would love the steak, but I think that $26 for a steak is a little much. What can you do for $22? We don't do that. And I would like to suggest that it would pay for us to raise this question more into a conscious question that we deliberate about when we reach these transactional points. Now, we might often decide that, no, we're not going to bargain for the steak. But I think it pays to realize that you're not, the reason you don't bargain for the steak is because someone has set the transaction up against your bargaining for the steak. That's the reason the restaurant has listed the prices on a menu, because they don't want you negotiating with the waiters. Because if you negotiated with the waiters, if you bargained with the waiters for the price of a steak, they'd end up earning less. And the same is true of any supermarket that puts the price on a price tag and sticks it on. And the same is true for any time you walk into a fast food restaurant and you see a full menu of everything they have to offer right up there with the prices and the list. So, prices are all out there. Nobody is going to bargain with the guy behind the counter at McDonald's. So the situation is set up against you bargaining. Well, someone benefits from that, and it's not you. And it's the same thing with your mobile phone carrier, or with your insurance person, or with your satellite TV, whatever it is, and they say, oh no, we don't do discounts, or our company policies. Okay, so there are people or players, parties, who benefit from this situation. And very often, unless you're one of those parties, the situation is not set up to benefit you. It's set up to benefit the repeat players who have structured this transaction. So that might make it a little easier for some of you to say, well, maybe I should be less in my head about, what might insult them or what might be offensive to them or what might be unsuitable, and maybe I can go in and see whether I actually can try my hand at bargaining, and maybe I can ask the salesperson, well, that's a bit steep. Can you help me out a little, and see what happens. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be that voice in your head that's telling you you're not standing up for yourself. You need to go out and get more. You need to knock the price down. You're running away from confrontations, and that's not what I'm saying at all. Okay, nobody needs that voice in their head, and I certainly would not want it to be me. However, what I would like you to consider is that should you want to do it, you can do it more often than you think you can. And I'm telling you this as someone who has done this just for practice. Not because that's my personality type or thing that I necessarily enjoy doing it. But yes, I have bargained in McDonald's. I bargained in Zara. I bargained at Sears. I bargained at, I don't know, any of the places that you might associate at Walmart. The places where, that's not where we do it. This isn't a yard sale. We don't bargain there. Well, I've tried. Sometimes successfully. Sometimes I receive some very funny looks back at me. But I'd like to suggest that you can. And now and then I'd suggest that you should. Now, why do I suggest that sometimes you should? Because here's the thing. There are going to be situations in life where you are going to have to bargain. And those are sometimes really big, meaningful transactions. Like buying a house. That's a big one. Like bargaining when you're negotiating a salary. That's a really, really big decision. If you could practice on low-cost, low-risk transactions, when the only risk is that someone is going to give you a funny face and say, what, you can't negotiate here at McDonald's, we don't do it, then I'd suggest overcoming the funny faces and using these places just as training grounds. Because sometimes when you hit the big situation, you're going to want to be better. So I've said this before, that life offers negotiators a full, just a playground for negotiators, and particularly for bargaining. In this playground there is a bargaining seesaw and there's a bargaining set of slides, and I suggest that now and then you take a step out of whatever you think is right and kind of normal and expected in something, and go get on that swing and bargain and see what happens. Good luck.